Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you a very exciting technique called LIME, or for local interpretable model-agnostic explanation, which is a way for us to interpret machine learning models. And it is very exciting. It is super easy to use. It also has a very powerful visualization, and this is exactly what we're going to do. In this video, we need to get the dataset. The dataset, you'll be able to find a link in the description of this video. So please be sure to do it with me and follow my code line by line. We also need to create a machine learning model. We will go with random forest, which is simple enough to use. And then the last part would be to actually employ LIME. So first thing is to get some libraries as a comment. And the way that we need, so for LIME, you do need to install it first. So don't forget to do pip install LIME in your Anaconda prompt, for instance. And then the libraries that I want to import immediately would be import numpy as np, then import pandas as pd, and then the last one would then be import sklearn dot model underscore selection, and then import train test split. And I made a mistake over here, so instead of import in the beginning, it should be from, and here we go. So for me it would be shift enter, and then the next one as a comment, get dataset. And the way that I have it, so I have mine on my working directory, so that's easy enough to get. So get dataset, we call it dataset equals, going to use pandas dot read underscore csv, and then open parentheses, open the quotation marks, and it's called Udemy underscore finance. And this is a dataset that crawled the Udemy website for all the finance related courses. And the key idea, and this is what we are going to do in this course, is that we'll try to find characteristics that make it that the courses have a higher rating. And as a person who has Udemy courses myself, this is of my own self-interest. So it's very exciting for me to use machine learning for my own purpose and to my own use cases. The thing that I want to do next is that I'll do dataset and then .add, so I can have a brief look at my dataset, shift enter, and then here we go. So the way that I have it here, we have, let me decrease the zoom a tad bit to 125. And so we have the ID, the title, the URL. This we don't need. Is paid definitely seems like a good variable. Number of subscribers, then we have average rating recent, and then the rating, and then we have the number of reviews, also seems good. Is wish listed, does not seem like it fulfills a purpose, because I want things that are within the control of the instructor or within my control, for instance. And wish listed, this is something that is within the student control, or it is not something that I can act upon. Number of published lectures within my control, number of published practice tests as well. Then we have created. This is something that for me is not of interest, because for me it would be more interesting to have the last updated. And this is just when it was created. So imagine if it was updated in 2020, the information is simply not here. And then we have the discounts of the prices and everything. And again, this is something I don't see a connection with the rating, especially since everything is bought usually at the discount at Udemy. So I don't find it that relevant. But of course, when you do this, feel free to add, for instance, the discount price amount or the price detail amount, which are ready to use and should be quite simple. So the next step is that in one of our variables, so is paid, this is currently a Boolean, and I need to transform it into an integer. So transform Boolean into integer. And the way that it works is that we go to our data set and then we get our is underscore paid, do equals, and then we do dataset, and then open the square brackets, again, is underscore paid, and then we just do as type, open parentheses, open quotation marks, and then we do int. Or rather at no quotation marks and just int. So again, shift enter, and let's go to the next step, which is to isolate my x and my y, isolate x and y, and this is nothing but to select the variables that I want to use. So for my y, this is quite simple. We go to my data set, and if I go above, there are currently 3, so average rating, rating, and average rating recent. And you can see that average rating recent and rating is more or less the same. I'm going to go for the rating, which is the same as the recent, because I think this is more relevant. So the rating in which they currently have. And as it goes, so in quotation marks, I just write rating, and then I go to my x, so capital X, and then equals to, again, data set. Now, because we are setting more than one, we do double square brackets. And then the first one will be the is paid, because it's the one that we have already used. And then comma, next one, num of subscribers. And then the next one would then be the number of reviews. Again, num, and then underscore reviews, then comma, and then num of published lectures. And here we go. And then the last one that I will use will be the number of published, and then I want to have practice tests. And here we go, quite simple. And let's go through it. So shift enter, and this is actually it. If I am to, for instance, just run on my X, just to make sure that it actually works. So I were to do X and then underscore head. Here we go. And we have the is paid, number of subscribers, number of reviews, number of published lectures, and then the number of published practice tests. So just to make sure that we have everything that we want. And then the next step is to split into train and then test. And how to do this? So X train, comma, X test, comma, and then Y train, and then the last one will be Y test. So we'll create these 4 objects equal, and then we use the function that we have imported, which is the train underscore test underscore split, comma, and then we just say, okay, so it's our X, it is our Y, and then I want my test size to be equals to 0.2, which means that 80% of the observations will be in my trained set. And then the last one is random state, just so that you have similar results to me, 1502, as that is my date of birth. Again, shift enter, let's continue to the next step. And now that all my data is prepared, everything is set, it's time for random forest. We need to import a particular function. So from sklearn dot ensemble, I want to import my random forest regressor. Here we go. And then we'll call it model equals, and then I use my function. So random forest and then regressor. And the way that I need to do now is, so random state, again, so we have similar results to me, equals 1502. And then the last one, number of estimators, let's use 200. And then the last step would be to then fit this model to my X and my Y train. So dot fit, and then X train, and then comma, my X, or rather yet my Y train. Here we go, shift enter, next step. Now, yes, we can definitely now use Lime. So as a comment, Lime. So let's start the preparation. So first we'll create this kind of Lime model, so this explainer. And then the next step is to try to explain some instances that we can just select randomly. So first thing is from Lime, we need to import Lime underscore tabular. We'll call it something explainer. So this will be our model that explains. We'll go to our Lime underscore tabular, and then we do dot Lime tabular explainer, open parenthesis, and here we start. So training data, this is something that we definitely need. So training data equals to numpy array, and then we do x train. Everything has to be in its numpy form. Next, after the training data, so which one is the mode? So mode equals, and then in quotes, regression. Next step would then be, so feature names, to then give a name to the array, so or to the variables that are within my array. Underscore names, and then equals to, I go to my x underscore train, and then I do dot columns. Here we go, comma, and then the last one is that I also need to specify my categorical features, and for me I just have one, and I just need to name the index, which is 0, because as you recall, if I go up here, then my x, my first one is paid, and in Python index starts at 0. Let's do shift enter, and then what is left for us? So we call this one x, so for an instance, so I go to my explainer that I just created, and I do explain underscore instance, then open parenthesis, so data underscore row, I'm just going to do x, and then x underscore test, and then dot ilog, then I just name, okay, let's do the fourth one, or the fifth according to the index, comma, and then I need to do predict underscore fn, and then I used to go to my model, so the random forest model that I created, and then I do predict, and this is about it. Then the next step is that I go to my exp, so my exp, and then show in notebook. And this is why it's very important that you need to use, for instance, Jupyter Notebook, because for instance in Spider this would not work. And then show underscore table equals to true. Here you go, let's do shift enter. And then the last thing here while this runs is then that I do exp, and then I do as underscore list, and then I would just open the parentheses, and again now I do control enter. And for instance, so for this particular one, the predicted value is 4.5, and here we can see the 5 factors and whether they are having a negative impact or a positive one. And for instance, number of published lectures is currently having a negative impact, and as well the number of subscribers. And in here we can see the list. So because the number of published lectures is less or equal than 12, it has a negative impact. So students expect a higher number of published lectures. When it comes to reviews, it is having a positive impact. So this middle way of between 24 and 37, this one has a positive impact. Number of published practice tests, it's 0. And this one also has a positive impact. So apparently, if there are practice tests, then usually students don't like it, or they don't rate the courses as high. Then you have is paid equals 0. Apparently this is having as well a positive impact, at least in this case. And then the last one would then be that the number of subscribers, which is between 500 and 2000, this one has a negative impact. But let's just do for our last one, let's choose for instance 10 or 11. Again, shift enter, control enter, and let's wait a bit and it will appear. And this one has a very tiny amount of reviews, so less than 7. Again, very negative impact. So apparently if you have at least a middle size of reviews, it's good. Number of subscribers, it is tiny, so that should have had a positive impact. Number of published lectures, middle amount, so it's also doing good. And then is paid, so this one equals 1. Now this one has a positive impact, and it's very important to understand that it really depends on the instance and where it is located. So for instance, if it has a lot of reviews, then that influence the impact of the other variables. So this non-linearity or overall this segmentation of the impact per the situation of each instance, this is super critical, and it's something that honestly I really enjoy. And then the last step would then be publish of practice tests, which is currently at 0 and having a slight negative impact. So this is something that you can definitely play. If you have a Udemy course like me, you can also play around to see where your course is faring, and if you try to increase the subscribers, or you really try to push more published lectures, or increase the practice tests, where you would land. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. And as well, don't forget to check my courses on Udemy, which you'll find the link down below. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in another video. And until then, have fun.